Hi and welcome. You're here with your host Viveca, our community development coordinator. I'm Viveca, and we're here with our guest Russ Ellis of CTRE. Hi, Russ. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Viveca. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on our very first River District podcast, where you're going to learn a lot about his business, lots of businesses in the River District, and we hope that you stay tuned and listen on with us. And remember to add this to your library so you don't miss out on any of the shows. And of course, I will just begin this off with making sure that you also follow us on our socials at River District OS on all of them. And Russ, again, thank you for joining us here. Russ, again, is from CTRE. Russ, why don't you begin with just telling us a little bit about what your business does?
So what we basically are is a TV company for hire. So the reason I say that is we do so many different things. We do international sporting events, from downhill skiing to international cycling, national cycling championships, conferences, conventions down in the city, annual general meetings, and then documentaries, videos, music videos, all of those sort of things, and then obviously podcasts as well. So we also have the ability to remote operate studios as well, which we're busy setting up. So we're doing a whole plethora of different things, and basically, to sum it up, we're like a TV company for hire.
Well, as Russ said here, TV company for hire, but he also does things like podcasts. We are actually in the studios of CTRE right now, where he's training me to run these podcasts. So we might get a little bit better as we go, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable. He's gotten us really set up nicely here. We're comfortable in this room, lots of lights, and making us sound pretty good, and I mean, look pretty good too. Russ, how long have you been in the River District?
So we've been in the River District for about 4 years, maybe 5 years. But we've moved into this building for about 1.5 years now.
Okay, and where were you before?
So we were up past the Frog Pond opposite the carpet location. I think it's now the NDP office.
That's great. It's nice to see you expand, and it's nice to see you stay in the River District. Why did you choose Owen Sound for your business if you're going all over the place and you're, this TV company for hire? Why Owen Sound?
I think the question should also be, why not, right? I mean, we've got everything that we need here. We are close to the airports. So I say airports because obviously I'm going to put Wyerton in there as well. And we've got the ability to pop down to the city if needed. And because we don't have to deal with traffic jams, we can go either side and it doesn't really make a difference. Also, obviously, what's really cool about where we are is the space that we have and the size of the space, and the ability to be able to work really closely with the other businesses downtown. So, yeah, mutually help each other.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Russ and CTRE are located here in the River District at the Old BMO building. So the Old Bank Studios is what they like to charmingly refer to it as. You've got a huge space here. Tell us about how you're utilizing that space.
So the building itself is kind of split into two separate areas. It's funny you say the Old BMO because, honest to goodness, every week we get one person coming in trying to give us money or make a deposit. It's fantastic. So the building is split into two separate areas. So on one side we have our editing suites. So we have 3 different editing suites, and then we have offices, boardroom, and viewing area for going over different projects that we're working on. We have the podcast studio, and then we also have our remote operating center as well. So that's on one side. On the other side, we have the large studio with a 27-foot cyc wall. So that's like a big curved wall, which gives us infinite depth when we're filming. And then we have on the other side a 30-foot long by 17 feet high green screen and black screen, which we can position in multiple different ways to we could do anything from creating a space environment to well, just anything really. It's green screen, so you pop it out and you can create it. And then we also have bands next door, annual general meetings, virtual conferences, and also movie viewing as well. So that's kind of how we're using that side. And then underneath that, we have the different changing areas and like a green room cafe as well, tucked away for the people who are in the studio. It's not necessarily open to the public, that part.
Let's talk about being open to the public a little bit. You said people wander off the streets every now and again trying to make a deposit. I'd like to have them do that for me, but I digress. What I want to come and see the building. What do I do?
Come in the door. Come in the door and say hi. Like, we're always happy to give people a little tour around, show people what we're up to. The only time we won't do that is if we are live. And if we're live, you would still probably get the tour. Just you would be able to watch the live experience rather from the control room, rather actually from in the studio where stuff is going on. So, I mean, if someone's generally interested, just come in and chat to us. We're all pretty nice. And ask away.
Yeah, no, I will definitely attest to that. They are incredibly welcoming, incredibly nice. There's a few people, at the front desk you might recognize from, previous lives and things like that. And I myself have had the benefit of seeing nearly every square inch of this place. And honestly, I just love spending time here and coming to see it. Even this podcast room that you've set up so beautifully for us, you viewers, if you're watching the video version of this, you can see that it's a really interesting and dynamic room with, cool lights and the TV screen with our awesome logo on it, and all those kinds of things. But it's not a boring space. You don't feel like you're in a sterile kind of cold environment, even though all of these things that you're seeing on the wall have function.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your choice in that, and these chairs are incredibly comfortable. So Russ, any recent projects you want to tell us about? Recently you were in the city at a culinary experience. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we got asked to work with the Restaurants Canada show. So that's one of the largest trade shows that actually takes place in Ontario at the Enercare Centre. And we actually were running 6 stages down there and broadcasting from each of those stages. We had, I believe it was over 3,000 people viewing. I think it was daily with regards to that. And that was really cool, working with all the celebrity chefs and everything else. And also what was really awesome was being on that stage with some of the really large players in the industry. And that was a fantastic time. So we basically moved to the city for an entire week, and that was fun, to say the very least.
Now, talking about major players, I understand you ran into our very own Chef Zach from the Farmers Market, and pretty famous Brigitte. What was it like running into your very own up there?
Well, it was pretty cool, especially seeing Zach on stage, and so that was pretty awesome. And bumping into Birgit as well, that was fantastic. So it was really nice to see different people down there, and also to be representing where we're from.
Okay, so that's one of your, let's say, larger projects. Can you give us examples of other large projects you've worked on in particular, with a few details about either working in the studio or being on location?
So one of the things that we're working on at the moment is we're working in conjunction with some large manufacturers of kitchen equipment. And that doesn't sound necessarily super interesting, but what is interesting is us creating a studio for them down near the city. And I'm being semi-vague deliberately, so I apologise, but not. And the idea being that we will actually be controlling that studio from here. So actually building these new remote studios is pretty cool, to say the least. Another thing that was fantastic that was just released was Josh Ritchie's music video that was financed through the music program. I can't remember which one it was specifically. And for us to be able to do that and work with a local artist and really help get his name out was fantastic. So that was a really cool experience to do that one.
Okay, so I mean, you're the one who, brought up local. Let's talk about local and the importance of local and working with local businesses and things like that. Can you give us a couple of examples of local things that you've done, local projects that you've worked on, small, large, medium?
So let's look at the different municipalities. The majority of the municipalities within 25-30 minutes of this area is probably our broadcasting system in there. So when it comes for getting the name out on what's happening in the community, that really is our equipment that is doing that. So our installations. Fun things that we've done locally, obviously working for the city, getting that stuff out, working for yourselves, working on the courthouses with Grey County. Really lucky to have been able to work with the Owen Sound attack and step in when Rogers weren't available. So they were some really fun ones. Doing the attack games was absolutely awesome. So that felt great. And doing the Canada Day side of things was cool. And then obviously we've worked on Summerfolk in the past and other locations. So we're kind of all over the place. We kind of never know where we're going to go. So for example, last week we had to go up to Wyerton to do a press release kind of conference. And then next week we are, I think, on 3 different locations. So we're up in a racetrack and then shooting a documentary as well up locally. So we're on the water a lot. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling now, but we're all over the place.
No, that's awesome. That's so great to hear. Now, just really quickly before we have to wrap up here, I'm a small, a locally owned and operated business, and I need to do some promotional stuff for my business. What can you offer me in terms of local, and how can you help my business?
So there's a couple of ways to use us. If you're looking for promotional videos, yes, we can definitely do that. If you're looking for social media videos, definitely. But come and talk to us about the most cost-effective way of using our services. So, for example, instead of us shooting one video, how about let's shoot 20? Let's shoot 10, right? Let's shoot them back to back. Because at that point, it starts becoming exceptionally cost-effective.
I can definitely attest to that. We were lucky enough to have CTRE work with us on the most recent videos that you saw for the River District, and they were incredibly nice to work with. Russ, I want to thank you so much for coming in today and telling us more about your business, the finite things that we might not know, and inviting us to come in and literally see the space for ourselves. You really don't understand the grandeur of everything that they have in this building until you come and see it for yourself. So I do invite you to do that. But with our few moments remaining, can you tell us how to get in touch with you?
So easiest way is walk through the door, and we're right downtown, so feel free to come in there. Also, alternatively, just go to the website, ctreproductions.com, and on there's everybody's different emails and telephone numbers, and that would be the best way.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for, spending some time with us today, the viewers, the listeners on our very first River District podcast. Stay tuned for more as we, get to know our neighbors and what they're bringing and why the River District is so important to Owen Sound and as a local business community, and how you can come and spend some time with us. My name is Viveca, your host and community development coordinator. You can find the River District at owensoundriverdistrict.ca and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at River District OS. Best way to keep in touch with events that are coming up, news, articles, contests, everything, and we'll make sure that we communicate that to you. So thanks again, and we'll see you real soon.